Okay, so have you ever thought about like what makes a smile really captivating? But
Mhm.
like to yourself, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
look in the mirror and you're like, "Oh, that's a nice smile.
Yeah.
I feel good."
Yeah.
So get this right. The actual width of your smile, like when you compare it to how wide your whole face is,
Mhm.
might be a secret ingredient in how attractive you think your smile is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and we're going to dive deep today into research that use like high-tech 3D facial scans to explore this
Cool.
with over 600 young adults.
Wow.
So get ready for some potential surprises
Yeah.
from researchers at Tufts University and the University of Basel.
Awesome. Well, yeah, today we're going to unpack the findings from a study called Smile Dimensions Affect Self-Perceived Smile Attractiveness.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
I know, right? By Horn and colleagues.
Okay.
And our goal is to really understand what this research tells you about how the specific measurements of your smile
Mm,
influence how attractive you see it.
right.
We've got all the details on how they did it, what they discovered, and all that good stuff.
Now, have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like something about your smile wasn't quite right?
Oh, yeah.
But you couldn't put your finger on
All
it?
the time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
This research suggests that it might not just be about straight teeth or full lips,
Okay.
but like the fundamental size of your smile compared to your face.
Interesting.
So if you're focusing only on those individual features,
Yeah.
you might be missing the bigger picture about how you actually feel about your own smile.
Huh. That's fascinating.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I thought so.
So how did they,
Yeah, how did they even figure this out?
yeah.
How did they go about this?
Well, they had 613 young adults participate.
Wow.
214 men and 399 women, all aged between 21 and 35.
Okay.
And they captured each person's smile using 3D facial imaging.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like creating a precise digital model of their face while they're smiling. And then, get this, they had the participants rate how attractive they found their own smile.
Oh, wow.
On a simple line from not attractive at all to extremely attractive.
I love that.
And then the researchers analyzed the relationship between various measurements of their smiles and those self-ratings.
So they've got these 3D images and they've got people's opinions about their own smiles.
Easy, yeah.
And like we often think about a great smile as, pearly white teeth.
Right, perfect alignment.
Yeah, like the toothpaste commercials.
Exactly.
But this study done by experts at well-respected institutions actually points to a different dimension of a smile that has a surprisingly big impact
Wow.
on how attractive people, especially women in the study, felt their own smiles were.
Interesting.
So get ready for an unexpected insight into what makes you like your smile.
I am ready. Lay it on me.
Okay, so what did they find?
Well, the most significant finding was the impact of what they called proportional smile width.
Proportional smile width.
Yeah, it's basically the ratio of how wide your smile is when you're smiling, measured from the corners of your mouth
Okay.
compared to the overall width of your face.
So it's not just about having a wide smile, it's how wide it is compared to your face.
Exactly. It's all about the proportions.
I like that.
Yeah.
So is there a magic ratio or...
Well, they found a pretty direct link.
Okay.
For every 10% increase in this proportional smile width,
Uh-huh.
the self-perceived attractiveness scores went up by an average of 10.26%.
Wow. So a wider smile relative to your face means you probably like it more.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And what's even more interesting is that this connection was mainly seen in the women who participated in the study.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the effect of proportional smile width on how attractive they found their own smiles was much stronger in the data from the women.
So what does this mean for like the average person listening to this right now?
Well, if you've ever thought about making changes to your smile,
Yeah.
whether it's through cosmetic dentistry or just being more aware of how you come across, understanding this measurement could be really valuable.
Right.
Give you a different lens to look at your smile through.
Beyond straight white teeth.
Exactly. It's about the balance and proportions.
And those matter.
Yeah, it seems they play a big role in how happy you are with your smile.
So it's not just subjective.
Right. It's highlighting a concrete aspect of a smile that seems to influence self-perception.
And why do you think we're so focused on smile attractiveness anyway?
Well, research shows that people who are considered more attractive tend to have more positive social interactions and even opportunities in life.
It's true.
And smiling is a basic social signal,
Yeah.
conveying happiness and approachability.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that we care about how our smiles look.
It's interesting how they connect this to the desire for smile enhancements,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
like people getting dental work to improve their smile.
right? They want to fix things like excessive gum showing, or they're just unhappy, and so they get braces or other treatments.
It's a big deal for a lot of people.
It really is. And traditionally, the focus has been on individual elements of a smile,
Like what?
like the shape and position of your upper lip, how much of your teeth you show, even the little dark spaces between your teeth.
Okay.
But this research by Horn and his colleagues emphasizes that we haven't really paid attention to the overall dimensions of a smile, especially compared to the whole face.
That's a good point.
And their study really wanted to address this, especially when it comes to how we perceive our own smiles.
And it's interesting that they use 3D imaging
Oh, yeah, definitely.
instead of just photographs
Right, because 2D images can be inaccurate.
because of the angle and stuff.
Exactly, like camera lens distortion and the angle the photo is taken from 3D imaging gives you a much more accurate way to measure the soft tissues of the face.
So you get better data.
Yeah, way more reliable data on the actual dimensions of the smiles and faces.
Okay, so they've got a good way to measure smiles and a good number of participants.
Right.
And for the women, it really came down to how wide their smile was in proportion to their face.
Exactly, and when they looked at the data specifically for women,
Okay.
they found a statistically significant connection between smile dimensions and how attractive they rated their own smiles.
And what was the most important factor?
That proportional smile width, remember?
Right, right.
They calculated that for every 10% increase in that ratio, there was an 11.7-point jump in their self-perceived smile attractiveness.
Wow, almost 12 points. That's a big difference.
Huge. Yeah, just based on how wide their smile was compared to their face.
Now, what about the men?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay, tell me.
The results for the guys were totally different.
Oh, wow.
There was no significant relationship between any of the smile dimensions they measured, including that proportional smile width, and how attractive they perceived their own smiles.
Really? So the size and proportions of their smiles didn't really matter?
Not in this study, no.
So for women, a wider smile usually meant they thought it was more attractive.
Right.
But for men, it didn't seem to matter.
Exactly.
So why do you think that is?
Well, the researchers had a few ideas.
Okay.
They suggested that there might be different social and cultural expectations around smiling for men versus women.
Like how so?
Yeah, some research shows that women smile more often than men,
Interesting.
and that could lead to them being more aware of and critical of their own smile's appearance.
Because they do it more.
Right, exactly.
Makes sense.
They also mentioned possible biological factors, like studies that look at the role of hormones in social behavior.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe men in this age group just don't care as much about how their smile looks when it comes to attractiveness.
It's so interesting to think about those broader societal norms,
Yeah.
Because women are often expected to be more expressive. Their smile might be more important socially.
It might carry more weight, yeah.
So they end up being more critical of it.
It's possible.
And the fact that, on average, the men in the study rated their smiles a little lower than the women did kind of hints at that, too.
Yeah, it suggests there are differences in how men and women see and value their smiles.
Okay, so to sum up this deep dive,
Yeah.
the main takeaway from this research by Horn and colleagues is that there's a connection between how wide your smile is compared to your face and how attractive you think it is.
Right.
Especially if you're a woman in that age range they studied.
And this wasn't just based on opinions. It was based on actual measurements and self-ratings from a lot of people.
And that key statistic for women was...
For every 10% increase in proportional smile width, there was an average 12-point increase in how attractive they rated their own smiles.
But it's important to remember that proportional smile width only accounted for about 7.7% of the difference in how attractive women rated their smiles.
Yeah, that means there are other factors too.
Like the shape of your teeth, the whiteness, how much gum shows when you smile.
Right. All those things that we traditionally think of as making a smile beautiful probably still matter.
Yeah, this research just adds another piece to the puzzle.
It shows that the overall proportions are important too.
And it's fascinating that they didn't find the same connection for men.
Yeah.
The researchers' ideas about social, cultural, and even biological factors being involved are really thought-provoking.
This research really emphasizes that when we're thinking about improving a smile, whether it's with dental treatments or anything else, we need to look at the bigger picture.
The whole package.
Yeah, the overall dimensions and how the smile fits with the face.
Yeah.
Not just focusing on individual features.
And for dentists and other clinicians, understanding this is super important.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So they can make sure that what they're doing is actually what the patient wants.
Right, and how they'll feel about their new smile in the end.
Now, here's something for everyone to think about.
Okay.
This study focused on young adults, and the link between proportional smile width and attractiveness was stronger for women.
Right.
So what about teenagers or older adults?
Good question.
And what about different cultures?
Yeah. How do they value smiles differently?
And beyond the width of our smile, are there other subtle things in our facial expressions that affect how we see our own attractiveness?
Fascinating.
This research gives us a really interesting look at the science of smile perception.
It does.
But it also raises some questions about how we see ourselves and how other people see us.
Lots to think about.
It really is.
It is.
So thanks for diving into this with me.
It's been a pleasure.
I always enjoy our chats.
Me too.
To everyone listening, thanks for joining us.
And keep smiling.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.